Welcome back to Sammy Snakes. I'm sorry I have not uploaded in a while, but I hope this video makes up for it. Hi Duchess. This is my foster dog Duchess. She is meeting a potential adopter today, but she's very clingy and likes attention, so you'll probably see her throughout this video. Anyways, today we are making Butterscotch's enclosure into a bioactive enclosure, which I am super excited about. But one thing about bioactives I do not have yet is isopods or springtails, so I'm lacking my cleanup crew simply because at the end of the week I'm going on a 2-week vacation out of town, and I don't want to leave a new isopod culture on my mom to take care of. I wanted to do a full enclosure upgrade for Butterscotch for a while, but I can't really afford that, so I'm doing the next best thing and turning it into a bioactive. So I have this tank emptied out. The only thing on it right now is the cling background that's attached to the outside. So this video is just going to be me making the bioactive enclosure and Duchess not helping whatsoever. So a bioactive enclosure has a lot of different layers. So the first layer is your drainage layer, which for that I'm using clay balls. My grandparents had this 5-gallon bucket of them. I'm probably going to use up all of them, but they gave them to me, which I'm very thankful for. And then you have a separation layer, which I'm going to be using some hardware mesh for to keep the substrate and the drainage layer separate. And then you have your substrate, your moss, and your leaf layer. So in this bioactive build, I am using 2 live plants. They are both succulent plants that are snake safe. I looked it up while I was at Lowe's picking them out. And they both seem to be pretty hardy, so I'm hoping Butterscotch does not fully destroy them, but I guess this is a test to see which plants he can and cannot destroy. So let's get started. So I have my bucket of my clay balls, and I want like a 3-inch layer of them, so I'm just going to kind of start pouring them. As I suspected, I am going to be using all of them. Now that I have my clay balls in for my drainage layer, I'm going to mix up my substrate before I get my mesh. So for my substrate mix, I'm going to be using some forest floor bedding, the tropical bioactive substrate kit from ZooMed, which is big enough for a 10-gallon tank. So just some small things in there, and some sand. So let's open all these bags and get to mixing. So now we need to mix all of this up while trying to not make a complete mess on the floor. So I'm just using my hands to dig and mix stuff together here, which I'm probably going to have an easier time doing once everything is poured into the enclosure. So I think the best option is to get my mesh layer on.
So at this point, I have all the substrate in the enclosure and mixed together, and I'm going to be planting the 2 succulent plants in the enclosure and using rocks to help set them in place and planting them in the substrate layer basically.
Now that we have all our substrate in place, we are going to add in our moss and then our leaf litter. So I am using the Zoomed terrarium moss and some regular sphagnum moss from the garden store. So before I add in my terrarium moss, because it's greener and more decorative, I'm going to add back in Butterscotch's caves. I'm going to have one back here next to this plant, which is where his heat mat normally is, his warm one. I'm going to have his other cave back in this corner where it always was. I add in his wood, which I like to wrap with this fake plant. And then we're going to do to the terrarium moss, and then we will add back in the water bowl and other fake plants. I'm actually going to put this terrarium moss around these plants. now I'm going to add in the leaf litter, which really will mainly act as food for the isopods in between their main feedings. But I'm just going to add it in now. So I'm leaving this space empty because this is where his water bowl goes. So I want to make sure I leave room for it. I'm going to add some leaf litter around this part because I feel like isopods like to hide in it a lot. I'm going to crumple it up a little bit in some areas here. Maybe I'm going to put a little bit up front just because I've seen in other people's videos their isopods like kind of hanging out around the water sources in the tank. Okay, so now I'm going to add in Butterscotch's water bowl, and we can get a close-up view of the tank and go from there. So this is a completed aerial view of the tank, and from the front, I think it looks way cooler than it did before. I really like this crassula plant. I think this is a pothos plant. I don't quite remember exactly what they both are, but I think they look really cool in the tank. I think everything looks really cool, and let's see how Butterscotch likes it. Okay, I'm gonna put him in right up here. And to clean and fill his water bowl still. And he's just gonna sit there and not do anything because Butterscotch is lazy. Look how big he's getting, guys. Remember how little he was when I first got him? But yeah, here are Butterscotch's new digs for now. He is getting quite large. Not quite large enough to outgrow this tank because he's still a little shorter than the tank itself. But yeah, we'll probably have to move this Bioactive into a 4x2x2 setup soon. But this will suit Butterscotch for now until probably around Christmas time. And he likes to look at his reflection. And he found his cave. Okay, well, I'm gonna reset all his heating and then we'll be back to chat. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoy Butterscotch's new Bioactive enclosure. I'm sorry the video was so messy. I kind of was just trying to finish up his enclosure and I kept forgetting I was filming, so I kept forgetting to like say what I was doing. But I hope it at least made some sort of sense to you guys, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye bye.